The Galactic Council Hall was brighter than 1,000 suns. Tall beings from many worlds filled the wide circular room. Some had wings, some had metal skin, some floated in the air. They had gathered to speak about one thing: Earth. A large screen showed images of humans. Walking, working, laughing, crying. The moment the images appeared, the room filled with laughter. "They are the galaxy's first draft," one alien said. "An early mistake," another mocked. "They feel too much and fight too little," a third voice laughed. To them, humans were called Earth's prototype. Weak, emotional, and slow. A species that should never have survived. Far away from the council hall, on a cold space station near Earth, a human named Ethan Cole stood alone under glowing Christmas lights. Fake snow floated through the air. Music played softly, but Ethan did not smile. He had traveled here for something called an interspecies holiday exchange. Different races met to learn about each other. Some even tried blind dates. Ethan did not expect love. He only hoped not to feel invisible. Ethan was simple. No armor, no special power. Just a human in a clean coat, holding a small gift box. His hands shook slightly, not from fear, but from hope. Across from him sat a tall alien woman with silver skin and sharp eyes. She looked at Ethan the way someone looks at a broken tool. She scanned him, then sighed. "This was a mistake," she said flatly. "You humans are too soft. You would not survive in my world." People nearby turned to watch. Some whispered, others laughed quietly. Ethan opened his mouth to speak, but no words came. "I reject this match," the alien woman said loudly. She stood up and walked away, leaving Ethan sitting alone under red and green lights. The laughter followed him as he stood. Each step felt heavier than the last. This was not the first time humans were rejected, but it still hurt the same. Outside the hall, Ethan walked into a long metal corridor. The music faded. The lights were dim. He stopped near a window that showed Earth far away. On that same night, the Galactic Council continued to laugh. "Humans want love," one alien said. "They want connection," another replied. "They will never rule the stars." Ethan rested his hand on the cold glass. He did not know about the council. He did not know how the galaxy mocked his kind. He only knew that being human felt very lonely. A soft sound echoed behind him. Slow, heavy footsteps. Not hurried, not quiet. Ethan turned slowly. The corridor lights flickered. A tall shadow stretched across the wall. From the darkness stepped a woman unlike any other. She was taller than any human. Her eyes glowed like fire behind calm control. Her presence made the air feel heavy. Ethan felt fear, but also something else. Respect. Power. She looked at him, truly looked at him. Not at his weakness, but at his pain. "Human," she said, her voice deep and steady. "I watched everything." Ethan swallowed, unsure what to say. "I am sorry," he finally whispered. The woman tilted her head slightly. "You were tested," she said. "And you did not break." Somewhere far away, the galaxy laughed at humans. But in that quiet corridor, a dragon's eyes rested on one lonely man. And the laughter was about to end. Ethan stood frozen in the corridor. The tall woman before him did not move closer. Yet her presence filled the space like a storm waiting to rise. Her eyes were not angry. They were calm, ancient, and heavy with meaning. Ethan had never seen eyes like that before. "I am not here to mock you," she said slowly. "My name is Seraphine." The name echoed softly in the metal hall. Ethan felt his heart beat faster. He did not know why, but he knew this moment mattered. "You saw what happened," Ethan said, his voice low. "I was rejected." Seraphine nodded. "Yes," she replied. "And that is why I followed you." Ethan frowned in confusion. "Why?" he asked. Seraphine stepped into the light. The shadows pulled away. Her form became clear. She looked mostly humanoid, but scales shimmered softly along her arms. Her eyes glowed like quiet flames. And behind her, folded tightly, were wings made of living crystal and scale. Ethan took a small step back. "A dragon," he whispered. "Yes," Seraphine answered. "One of the last royal dragons." Dragons were legends even among aliens. They were powerful, feared, and respected. They did not walk among common beings. They did not attend holiday exchanges. "Why are you here?" Ethan asked. "Why me?" Seraphine looked at the Christmas lights behind him. Then back at Ethan. "I was invited as an observer," she said, "to judge the younger races." Ethan laughed softly, bitter and tired. "Well," he said, "you saw how humans were judged." Seraphine's eyes narrowed slightly. "Yes," she said, "I saw ignorance." She walked past Ethan and stood near the window, looking at distant Earth. "Your species is mocked because it feels," she continued. "The galaxy fears what it does not understand." Ethan leaned against the wall. "Feeling did not save me tonight," he said. Seraphine turned to him. "No," she agreed. "But it revealed you." She explained that dragons did not choose partners by strength alone. They tested patience. They tested humility. They tested the ability to endure shame without turning cruel. "You were laughed at," she said. "You were rejected publicly. And still, you did not strike back." Ethan looked down. "I am just tired," he admitted. Seraphine stepped closer now. Close enough that Ethan could feel warmth in the air. "Tired beings do not pretend," she said. "They show truth." Somewhere above the station, alarms hummed quietly. The galaxy moved on without noticing them. "I have watched many species," Seraphine continued. "Most hide their weakness. Humans live inside it and keep walking." Ethan met her gaze. "What does that mean?" he asked. Seraphine took a slow breath. "In dragon culture," she said, "the one who endures rejection without losing kindness is rare." Ethan shook his head. "I am not special." Seraphine smiled slightly. "That is what makes you dangerous." She raised her hand, and a small symbol of glowing fire appeared. A dragon bond mark, ancient and forbidden. "I choose you," she said clearly. "Not as a servant. Not as a symbol. But as my intended mate." Ethan's breath caught in his chest. The corridor felt suddenly too small. "You are joking," he said softly. Seraphine's voice became firm. "Dragons do not joke about bonds." Far away, the Galactic Council continued to laugh at humans, unaware that a dragon had made a choice. And that choice was about to shake the stars. Seraphine's words stayed in the air. Ethan could not move. A dragon choosing a human was impossible. At least that is what the galaxy believed. "You do not understand," Ethan said slowly. "I am not strong. I am not important. I was rejected a few minutes ago." Seraphine lowered her glowing hand. The fire symbol faded. "But you are still standing," she said. "That matters." She asked Ethan to walk with her. They moved through a quiet passage away from the crowd. The station walls curved like ribs of metal. Soft lights followed their steps. "Tell me why," Ethan said. "Why humans?" Seraphine stopped and faced him. Her wings shifted slightly, careful not to touch the walls. "Because the galaxy misunderstands power," she said. She explained that most races valued strength, speed, and control. They crushed weakness before it could grow. Dragons once believed the same. "But we learned too late," she continued. "Strength without feeling creates empty empires." She showed Ethan a small projection. Images of ruined worlds appeared. Races that ruled through fear. Civilizations that destroyed themselves. "They were powerful," Seraphine said. "But they were alone." Ethan watched quietly. He had grown up hearing that humans were weak. That they were behind. That they were lucky to still exist. "Humans fall," Seraphine said. "And they stand back up. They lose." And still hope. She looked directly at him. You were humiliated, she said. And yet your first thought was not revenge. It was sadness. Ethan clenched his fists. I hate feeling weak, he admitted. Seraphine nodded. So do dragons, she said. But we learned that weakness teaches patience. She told him about an ancient dragon trial, a test where young dragons were stripped of power, mocked by their own kind. Many failed and turned cruel. The ones who endured, she said, became true leaders. Ethan finally understood. The rejection was not the test. His reaction was. But the galaxy will never accept this, he said. They already laugh at us. Seraphine's eyes hardened slightly. Let them, she replied. Laughter fades when truth arrives. At that moment, a message echoed through the station. A council alert. The words spread quickly. Dragon presence confirmed. Across the galaxy, screens lit up. Council members leaned forward. A dragon, one whispered. Here, another said in fear. Then the second message appeared. Short, clear, and shocking. Bond initiated with a human. The room exploded into chaos. They chose a human. Impossible. Humans are unworthy. Back in the corridor, Ethan felt the weight of what was happening. I never wanted this, he said. Seraphine placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. History never asks permission, she said. She looked toward the stars beyond the station. Humans were called a prototype, she continued. A mistake. But prototypes show what is possible. Ethan took a deep breath. For the first time, he did not feel small. Somewhere in the galaxy, laughter was turning into fear, and the truth about humans was finally being seen. The Galactic Council Hall fell into disorder. Voices rose from every side. Screens flashed red and gold warnings. A dragon bond with a human was not just shocking. It was dangerous. This must be stopped, one council member shouted. Humans cannot be trusted with dragon power, another cried. They are unstable. They are emotional. Orders were sent across the station. Security forces moved quickly. Drones filled the air like metal insects. Back in the corridor, Ethan felt the station tremble. What is happening? He asked. The galaxy is afraid, Seraphine replied calmly. They should be. Alarms echoed now. Bright lights replaced the soft glow. The station was no longer pretending to be peaceful. A group of armored aliens blocked the passage ahead. Weapons charged and ready. Their leader stepped forward. Dragon Seraphine, he said. You are violating council law. Seraphine did not slow her steps. Council law does not bind dragons, she answered. And it will not bind humans forever. Ethan's heart pounded. He had never been in danger like this before. Every instinct told him to run. But he stayed. The guards aimed their weapons at him. This human is the problem, one said. Remove him. Seraphine's wings unfolded slightly. The air grew hot. Metal creaked under pressure. No, she said softly. He is the answer. Ethan stepped forward before he could stop himself. I am not a weapon, he said. I am not your threat. The guards hesitated. They had expected fear, not a calm human voice. Then step aside, the leader ordered. Ethan looked at Seraphine. She met his eyes. This time, she did not speak for him. Ethan took another step forward. If you want to stop this, he said, you will have to listen first. The silence that followed was heavy. No human had ever spoken like this to the council forces. News feeds spread across the galaxy. A human standing beside a dragon. Unarmed, unprotected, unbowed. Humans were meant to obey, a council member whispered. They were meant to stay small. Seraphine raised her voice then. Not loud, but powerful. This human was rejected and mocked, she said. And still he chose dignity. That is the strength you fear. Weapons slowly lowered. Not from orders, but from doubt. Ethan felt something change inside him. He was still afraid, but he was no longer ashamed. A final message appeared on every screen. Emergency council session initiated. The galaxy will judge you, the station commander warned. Seraphine smiled slightly. Good, she said. Ethan stood beside her. A human once laughed at. Now standing at the center of galactic fear. And the galaxy was about to learn. Humans do not need claws or fire to be dangerous. The emergency council chamber filled with silence. Not the loud kind, but the heavy kind that comes before history changes. Ethan stood in the center beside Seraphine, surrounded by beings who once laughed at his species. Now they stared at him with uncertainty. You are only human, one council voice finally said. You bring nothing to the table. Ethan took a slow breath. He remembered the laughter, the rejection, the long walk down the corridor. I bring what we always bring, Ethan replied. We show up. Murmurs spread across the chamber. Some in anger, some in confusion. Seraphine stepped forward, her wings fully open now. Light reflected from her scales. I did not choose him for his strength, she said. I chose him because he endured. She spoke of human history, of wars survived, of worlds rebuilt, of families formed after loss. Humans break, she said, and then they rebuild themselves. The council replayed recordings. Ethan's rejection, his quiet exit, his refusal to strike back. The laughter no longer sounded proud. It sounded small. One by one, objections faded. Not because of fear, but because truth is hard to argue with. A final vote was called. Recognition of the dragon bond, and of humanity's place. The result shocked the galaxy. The bond was accepted. The alliance approved. Across countless worlds, news spread fast. Humans were no longer called a failed prototype. They were called partners. On Earth, people looked up at the night sky, unaware that something had changed forever. Seraphine turned to Ethan. This is only the beginning, she said. Ethan smiled softly. For once, he replied. That sounds hopeful. The Christmas lights on the station flickered back on. Music returned. And for the first time, Ethan felt seen. The galaxy had laughed at humans. Until a dragon chose one. And called him husband.